Hello, everybody. Cody, how we doing?
Living the dream, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. For the astute, you might notice that we're down one man today. Um, Not saying that you guys can't count to three usually, but um, we do usually have three guys here. But today it's just gonna be me and Cody solo because partner number three is off in bibbity bobbity land, right? Is that where he went?
Yeah, he was in Italy.
He's
I
in
think
Italy, huh?
uh I think he should be back. He may already be back, but I'm sure his clock is all sorts of jacked up.
Yeah. He's still in Italy somewhere in his brain, I'm sure too.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I saw pictures today where it looked like
Oh yeah.
look I mean insane, like
Right.
absolutely
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
Italy is known for for being an uglier country. No, I just
Right.
picturesque, like gorgeous background. So
Yeah. He's not going to like Prague or anything like that.
yeah.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers. Makes me want to watch Luca real bad. No.
I pulled a Jason right now. I just did my smoked old fashioned on camera. I've
I
not I've
saw
not
that.
ever done that, but I'm worried. I'm staring at
Jason's
it right
here
now.
with us in spirit.
Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at my thing now to make sure it doesn't light any of my equipment on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to I still have the smoke kit that you bought me.
Yeah.
I need to fire it up. Actually, I did it randomly like 6 months ago, and
Mhm.
then I've for some reason not cracked in. I need to start cracking back into the bourbon because it's over there.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting into it for some reason. I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure once I run out of the cut water, I'll dip my toe back into it. I think
Back
I've
into the
done one
bourbon.
of our shows with the bourbon. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah,
Definitely loosens you up a bit. I'm going with the
yeah.
standard my standard issue smoked old fashioned today. So it's really lately most of the times I've been just doing regular bourbons on here, but I was like,
Hmm.
I'll mix up a cocktail for
Went with the
for a
full
go
old
here.
fashioned this time.
Yeah.
Good
I
deal.
use it.
Good deal,
I
man.
use. I learned this the other day. I used to call the bourbon that I use bullet, as I'm sure
Yeah,
everybody does. I
like a
guess it's
rye.
bull. I guess it's boulet. It's
Oh,
the French
you don't say.
pronunciation. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. Well, one, I didn't realize. Is it French?
Hell if I know, but I just if you want my take on it, I think they probably just got really tired of like being considered like compared to like Jack, and they wanted to like fancy it up a little bit.
All
We're not
right,
we're
right.
not we're
Tinky
not
up.
bullet. We're boulet.
Boulet.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's not
yeah,
hummus, it's hummus.
huma, yeah, huma, the
From the
sound you make
throat.
when you're eating it, hummus.
But yeah, so we've got some good sports going on right now. Obviously, we're in the NBA finals.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
Pacers are, I don't think anyone expected them to be here. So I feel like
No,
every game, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. To be honest, I was actually quite happy with the outcomes of the conference finals. I mean,
Yeah.
I was tired of seeing the same old teams. I mean, like I don't follow outside of the Bulls. I don't follow the NBA as closely as I used to. I mean, basically
Honestly, same.
since the decision, I kind of made a pact with myself. I said as soon as those big three win their first championship, I'm done watching until they break up. And so
Yeah.
I kind of fell off around that point because of course, they won their championship and then won, I think, like a couple more. So I like that whole period was like a blackout for NBA for me, like
Yeah.
self-inflicted.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, same for me. It's so funny because definitely at the risk of sounding old, that was definitely like a turning point for me too. It was like,
Hmm.
ooh, it's one thing if you're, like if he's holding this whole conference and all that stuff. He's like, I'm coming home, baby. I'm staying
Hmm.
at Cleveland. But he's like, no, I'm taking my talents elsewhere. I'm like, you just destroyed a
and
fan
then
base that
an entire
absolutely idolized you.
yeah, an entire state essentially. And yeah, and like
Right.
to like Miami of all places too. Like nothing could be more like
The
I don't
opposite of
right or like so self focused, and like I don't think LeBron is as like I don't want to say egotistical because I think he probably is, but like I don't think
He's
he's as like
matured quite a
he's
bit.
matured
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure, for sure. But I do not blame him at the age that he was to just all of a sudden take a massive contract and go hang out in Miami. Essentially,
No,
like
for sure.
who wouldn't want that to
Honestly,
be?
it wasn't even that he took his talents to Miami. It's not even that he took the money. It's that he held a conference and
Hmm.
then destroyed his fans.
Right. And like didn't he get like children too to like join him on stage or something? Like
Oh God, I
wasn't
don't remember.
or was that something I
I
might be
wouldn't be
conflating it with
shocked.
some like the funniest thing would have been if it was like all just a bunch of kids from Cleveland that he put up on stage and he's like, "Hey guys,
Right,
guess what? I'm going to Miami. F you."
right. He picks up a kid in like
Right.
A Cleveland
Right, right.
jersey. He's like,
Yeah.
"I'm going to Miami." He
Yeah.
starts
You're,
crying on the scene.
it's going to be okay. You'll eventually get over it.
Right,
Don't worry. Hand him over to his dad.
right, right. Can you take this? No.
Just take him, please, please. But yeah,
But
I've been casually watching a little bit here and there. They've been some pretty good
mhm.
games, with them, and quite honestly, like I said, there's no like. I mean, I guess you got the new gen superstars with SGA and Halliburton.
Halliburton, yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know, none of those guys feel like they've earned anything. So I feel like to me yet. So I feel like this is kind of the chance for one of the two of them to earn something. But I think Halliburton
Yeah.
might be out tonight. I
Yeah,
think.
I heard that. Yeah, he. I don't think he's starting tonight. At the very least, he may not. Is he out completely?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it
I
up.
mean, he could be. I did. I saw something earlier that was basically it was that scene from oh, what is it? Eastbound and Down, I think it
Uh
was.
huh.
Where he's like,
Uh-huh.
"I'm as strong as an ox, and I feel 10 feet tall." It's like when he finds out that he's starting for Halliburton.
Right, right. No, he is playing right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Games it's 33-34 in the second quarter. Halliburton's got 9 minutes, 4 points, so he's in there. So it'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
It'll be
Four
interesting to
points,
see.
one assist, one rebound. Yeah,
Shot him up with
but
some horse tranquilizers and said, "Go to town, bud."
yeah, seriously. But yeah, no, I was honestly every Pacers game that I've seen this offseason has been like out of a storybook. Like
Hmm.
literally every game I've watched, they've been down by like 9 in the fourth, and then somehow
Yeah,
miraculously come back and win. I feel like they've
that's
done that like every game I've watched.
right. That seems to be Halliburton's mo. He seems to be that guy that just kind of
Mr. Clutch.
Mr. Clutch. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it
Yeah.
goes. This is a big game here, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
think
and
what Thunder's up one, right? Like is it
yeah,
three
they
to
were.
two? Something like that? Yeah, it's game six. I think that makes
Yeah,
sense.
game 6. Hmm.
But
3-2 on the Thunder.
yeah.
You're rocking some
But
Savannah Bananas stuff, aren't you? Huh? Is that
I
what that is?
am, yeah. I got my
Nice,
banana shirt on. It was
dude.
between this or the Savannah Ghost Pirates sweater that
Oh,
I
nice.
almost threw out. It's pretty nasty, I'll be honest. I'll probably wear that next time.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Um, do you? So I was having this conversation with my wife. What like let me hear your take. What's your take on the Savannah Bananas? Like, obviously, you seem to be a fan. Were you
Yeah.
always a fan of like not trying to say, oh, I was a fan before they did Banana Ball, but like
Right.
has Banana Ball been like your jam like all along or what?
So when the first few games that we went to, it was just flat out baseball. And then they had their first, but they were like, their thing was like with the famous, breakdancing first base coach or whatever.
Right.
So we were sat on the banana side, and the first base coach would like break dance between pitches and all this crazy stuff. And but even just outside of like the entertainment on the field, like the owner is at every game in his full yellow tuxedo, going around taking pictures, manages all the events, like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like all you can eat wristbands, which it's like
Oh,
they're
go
incredibly
on,
reasonable.
Go on.
Um, and they have everything set out cafeteria style, and you just walk through line and grab what you want. So like
Wow.
4 chicken sandwiches, 2 hot dog, like you paid for the band, show me the band, and you could just walk up and grab whatever you want. It's
Wow.
awesome.
That
Um,
definitely sounds awesome.
yeah, but
Right.
then but then it's always been entertaining. So like when you're walking up to the stadium, they have the Savannah Banana marching band that's
Hmm.
playing out front as everybody's coming in. All the players are walking, signing stuff, and then welcoming you into the ballpark. Like they're not in the field; they're like literally out front, like introducing you to the ballpark, which is
Oh,
really
nice,
cool.
nice.
Like
Like
it's
runway
it's really
style.
cool. Right, right. So that, but they've always done that, and then the banana ball thing is funny. I may be getting my story mixed up, but there is Grayson Stadium, which is where they're
Hmm.
at in Savannah, is a historic stadium, and they have their lease dictates that they are um, in league ball, like in a league, and they have to be in a league to continue to not like
Mm.
break their lease. So when the MLB cut a bunch of minor league teams,
Hmm.
there were a lot of teams that were just out. So they kind of found like a loophole and like made their own league and like
Got it.
in like a Harlem Globetrotters kind of way. Like it's the
Hmm.
same
Hmm.
two teams and there's only two teams in the league and they're both in Savannah. Like it's the Party Animals and the Bananas.
And they just play each
Um,
other all the time, right?
and
Yeah,
they
like
just play each other all the time. And the Bananas don't always win. So it's not like the Harlem Globetrotters, you know?
right, right, right.
But it was good baseball before banana ball, and they still do both. But I think the banana ball they do like the world tour and all that stuff, but they do still play
Hmm.
regular baseball as well, and on the other side of the season. Um,
Well, that's yeah, because that's how we got into it. Because my wife said that they're doing their tour and they're stopping in the Chicago area, and she's like, what, she's like,
go
I've seen
if
this,
you
but
can go.
like it's like a lottery style for the tickets,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
like
like,
that here. You
right,
can't. They've been sold out every year
well,
for the last like 6 years.
yeah, and I guess that's what I was kind of surprised. Like I get it in Savannah, that makes a lot of sense, but now that they're traveling,
Mhm.
like I have to do a lottery system, to see them in my own state. That seems a little jacked. I my personal
They
take,
sold out Fenway.
not surprised.
Like,
My like I mean, yeah, bunch of I mean, yeah, not surprised by that. I mean, no offense
yeah,
to the Bostonians of the world, but yeah, I'm not
yeah.
surprised. But I mean, I
But
guess I'm surprised at the fact that they can draw that kind of crowd, but I'm not surprised at the fact that a place like Boston would just lose their ever loving crap over something as silly as a. Again,
yeah,
I'm not trying to knock it. I think when it
no,
for me when it first came out, I was like, this is awesome. This is thinking outside the box. This is great.
yeah,
You're bringing a lot, like you're going viral, so that's
yeah,
great. For me, it just kind of lost its luster a little bit, to the point where, like,
mm,
I would like to see them if the opportunity came to me. I don't want to go through this whole, like, I need to get up at the crack of dawn and get in a queue to win a
oh,
lottery, to
yeah,
buy tickets. Like, that's not something. Like, she's like, should we do it? I'm like, yeah, it's it's cool. I know, it's something you can get behind. She's not super into sports, but she's seen a lot of the banana stuff, and she's like, it's, some of it's
yeah,
cool. But she kind of had the same thing. She's like, I'm not going out of my way to see them in my own home state, like, where I have to
hmm,
jump through a bunch of hoops to get it,
right, well,
just to
right,
get the
right.
tickets.
So
But
I'll
I
say
was just
this.
curious if you think if it's worth it, maybe we will. Who knows?
So this is my stance on it. If you're one of those people that you can't, so I love baseball. I love the history of baseball. I love
Hmm.
the past. I love everything about baseball. Like
Hmm.
if you're going there expecting baseball, you're going to have a bad time.
Right.
If you're going there to be entertained and to like watch people do out like really impressive, like they're literally doing backflips and catching
Yeah. Yeah.
like flyouts, and they're like if a grounder is hit to them, they'll dribble it between their legs off the ground and still throw them out at first. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they do insane things. If you're going
Yeah.
there expecting traditional baseball, though, that's not what you're going to get. But
Yeah.
the kids love it.
Yeah.
It's really entertaining, and like Joan loves going to them because they're
Mm-hmm.
funny. Like they have the Banana Nanas, which is like 90-year-old women that come out and do dance routines and cheer and stuff like that. But they're really fun. They're really entertaining. If you have an opportunity to go, I would definitely try. If it means getting up at 4 in the morning, I'm like, man, yeah.
Yeah.
you can judge your own level of effort that you're
Right.
willing to put in. But I will
She
say
can.
you will have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that for sure. And
Yeah.
she's there's been plenty of stuff that she's gotten up early to get in a queue to get tickets for, like
Yeah.
Danny Go or some whatever YouTuber or something like that. So so yeah, I was just curious because I saw the banana gear, so I thought, ooh, this is a good time to ask somebody who knows.
Yeah.
Where
So they're a lot of fun. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess you can't really have a podcast without broaching this topic. Where do you stand on the 100 men versus a gorilla debate right now? Do you think?
I mean, I don't know. The whole thing seems insane.
Here it
Like,
is. This is what everybody's been waiting for. The Just a Bit Outside podcast take on 100 men versus gorilla, starting with Clint.
yeah. Ah, man, I have a hard time thinking 100 grown men couldn't beat one gorilla. Like, 100 grown
Hands
men,
down.
right? That's a
Hands
lot.
down.
If it were like 10 on 1, it'd be like, now we're having a conversation. A
Mhm.
hundred is a lot. Like, and not only
Hands
that,
down.
fatigue's a thing. Like,
Yeah.
the
And
math
even
just
if
doesn't math up to me.
and yeah, right. And I'd even go so far as to, like, let's take 40 of them out for fight or flight, going flight, and just saying, I'm out of here. Screw you guys. I
Right.
still think like
Logic.
60 men who choose violence that day to go after a gorilla. Like, to me, I feel like a gorilla seems strong. I guess I don't know the biology on this, but a gorilla seems strong at something that it can see and attack head on. But I feel like
Yeah.
any animal, if you get 60 people and you surround it and enough people get it from behind, you could subdue said animal pretty
Right.
easily.
You're
I mean,
gonna
people are
have
going to
to
get
go.
hurt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't get me
There
wrong.
will be casualties.
There will be blood. Yeah.
No, yeah, there will be blood, but no, I feel like. But here's the thing: like, you have to be like, listen, if we're gonna make it out of this, we gotta go together. Like, we
Together.
gotta
Yeah.
go all at once. Like, it's got to be a jump.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
if you go in one at a time, or like,
Right.
dance around, like, it's gonna go downhill real fast.
That's why I'm saying, like, give me get the 40 people that are not sure about this out of there straight away. Just go.
Right,
Like,
right,
if you're not going to charge this thing with us, we don't want you on our team. But
yeah,
give me the remainder of charged up dudes that are just like, let's go.
yeah.
I don't think that gorilla stands a chance. And honestly, I think, maybe it's a little bit of my own, like, personal perception on situations like that. I mean, especially with animals. I don't know what it is. I have a respect for any animal, but I also do not fear most animals for some reason. Like, some people just get, like, in the presence of some super large animal and they kind of, like, get noticeably skittish, like, okay, don't,
Yeah,
don't. But, like, it just doesn't compute with me. Like, I feel like any animal, I just, like, look it straight in the eye, and, like, the fact that I respect it, kind of, they can sense that. I feel like sometimes
hmm,
the fact that I respect them, and then, like, that kind of disarms them a little bit sometimes. Like,
yeah,
I don't. It's just this weird, like, but that's like, like, obviously I'm a guy who's a little bit on the larger side. I don't have a lot of situations where I choose flight over fight, other
yeah.
than like anything with weapons. I guess that
Well,
triggers my
right, right.
my flight.
Real
I'm out of here.
fast, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But I feel like any animal you put up there, lion, tiger, gorilla, bear, there's this innate, my own animal instinct, I feel like, to fight
yeah,
rather than rather
right.
than rather than flight in those situations for some reason. I don't know why. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's a completely dangerous and stupid take to have, but that is me, and that's the way I see it. But
Yeah. Well, so I could definitely have seen that like being the case, but I literally have alligators in my neighborhood,
mhm.
and you see one of them in the wild, even like you're like, that's a
I'd walk.
dinosaur. Like they've been around a long time, and that's for good reason. I'm not messing with that thing,
I
you
would
know,
walk
like
right. I'm not even bullshitting. I would walk right up to that alligator right now if I saw it.
dude,
I would.
they're crazy. You're insane.
Yeah.
You're more
I
of a
mean,
man than I am because I'm not
I
messing with that
well,
thing.
it's not yeah, and it's not even that. Like I'm not trying to say it to sound
Mm,
macho or something. It's just like it for me it's speaking more to this really weird perception of animals that I have where like I said,
yeah,
it's just something where I love staring an animal directly in the eyes and trying to get deep into its soul and just like
yeah,
see how close they are to us in so many ways but so far away from us. You know, like and
yeah.
I know you're not supposed to do that. Like
Yeah, that's like
it's
the one thing. It's like don't stare it in the
don't
eyes.
stare at me in the eye.
Don't,
Yeah,
don't take it as a threat.
it's kind of funny, yeah, because like there's you know we live next to a really awesome zoo, or well, not next to, but in vicinity of a really awesome zoo at the Brookfield Zoo, which
Oh yeah,
has uh it's closed right now because they're creating a new one, but it has a really awesome like primates and gorilla exhibit with you know world famous gorillas you know for decades or whatever, and like
yeah.
so okay.
All right, beautiful. There we go.
Let me keep that up. But yeah, okay. So you were
Yeah,
saying about the Nate
neighbor gets
Bargatze.
you. Yeah, well, basically he's talking about there's in I think it was, I want to say it was in his hometown or something like that, but like you could literally pay to get in the ring and fight an orangutan, and he was like the thing I was laughing is he was like. And the orangutan like just always knocked him out, always. And he goes, he's like, the funniest part is he's like, you could stick three men in a room with an orangutan, and at least two of them would be like, I'm gonna fight that thing. Like at least two of them. He's like,
Yeah.
you could stick 1,000 women in that room with that orangutan and be like, how many of you fought it? They're like, why would we fight it? Like, what? Like the thought wouldn't even enter their
Wouldn't it?
mind
Yeah.
to fight the
Right.
orangutan.
It's I mean like the closest thing I can equate that to is the fact that probably one of the stupidest like video games I've ever seen in my life permeated our the male culture so deep, and that's that stupid punch this thing and see what your score is. Like the punching bag that
Oh
drops.
yeah, 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 yeah.
How many people just think I'm gonna hit the f out of that thing and I'm gonna
Oh
show up
yeah.
everybody. Like they think like it's cool. Like nothing speaks more to the male like state of mind
Psyche,
than
yeah, the
yeah
male psyche.
that than a ring full of filled with an orangutan that says here pay me and I'll let you fight it, or
Yeah.
a punching bag that says pay me and I'll let you punch this and you know like look stupid in front of your girlfriend like
Show everyone how big and strong you are.
yeah. And I'm like and I don't know what it is like I'm not that type of guy, but when I initially when I saw those things I'm like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put a couple quarters in here and hit this thing. See what happens. Like why? What was it about me? Like yeah, like
That
I
just
don't think there's
makes
very
that
many
like come out.
right. I don't think there's very many girls that would look at that and be like, I'm just gonna punch this thing. I want to see how good I am.
Right. Wow, look how strong he is.
Mhm.
He punched that toy so hard.
Yeah, yeah. He can raise my children.
Right, right, right. What's funny is something primal. Yeah, we're hoping something primal still lives in him, and
Right.
we're Neanderthals. Period. Like,
That's how I know right there, right? That's how you know
yeah,
that we've evolved from something stupid. You know, like I'm staring directly at gorillas and alligators. Other guys are punching bags and fighting orangutans.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
kind of it's baked into our DNA for some reason. I don't know why, but
yeah. All right, we have an update from Patty in the chat.
oh yeah,
56-39 Pacers. Let's go. Oh
fifty six
yeah,
thirty nine.
2.5 left in the first half.
Dude, this is gonna go to game 7. I feel like.
Dude, this is gonna be a Cinderella. Like that's gonna be amazing. I'll probably watch that game. I'll probably go somewhere to watch that game.
Oh
Game
hell yeah,
seven with the
yeah.
Pacers in it. Yeah, I'm definitely going somewhere. Oh, Hicks is in the
Hicks,
chat too. What's up, Hicks?
yeah. Don't worry, we both have our notes from last week, and I think we do have.
Yeah,
I know Cody has 5 movies. I got 5 movies. We may. I don't. I got some shows too, but we may wait for some of it at least till our third gets back, so we can have a healthy debate. I feel like
yeah.
adding a third person in there creates the chaos that you need to just debate the shit out of stuff. So
Right, right. Yeah, I feel like the movies that I picked are, I mean, some of them are just like classics, like easy. Like I feel like the TV show one is going to be really telling of like that could
well,
be that'd be a good one to have Jason in on for sure.
I guess we're gonna segue into it because like yeah, I feel like my picks on the movie are you're gonna be interested by them. I haven't seen a good movie in a really long time. Like one that's like where I left the theater or ended the stream where I'm just like, God damn, that was a good movie.
I have three honorable mentions,
Yeah.
and one of them is in the last few years. The rest of them
Okay.
are
Okay.
older, are
All right.
older.
All right.
So.
Let's hear him. Let's hear him.
All right, so and
Go
some of this is
honorable
definitely going to
mentions.
show. Yeah, so all right, honorable mentions: Interstellar and Martian.
Fair.
They both came out at the same time, both space movies. I love them both for very different reasons.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I feel like the Interstellar version, like the Interstellar, is just as a creative, like the way they went about that show, the way they shot it, the way they because that is not how I saw that going when I was like, oh, Matthew McConaughey is in like a space movie. Like I was picturing it to be like Gravity or
Mm-hmm.
Armageddon. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're going into like string theory, like
Deep.
all these, like they're
Yeah.
going deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, they're going to these different planets that are, it's set every hour, 7 years or something like that. And they're
Mm-hmm.
racing against the clock to save somebody, but at the same time, they're like, literally paying with years of their lives with their kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just thought the whole dynamic of it just stretched the mind on how you think between like the impact of space and gravity versus like real life, and the fact that it's off in the future in a situation that could vary, that's plausible,
Yeah.
right?
Very
So
plausible.
like
Yeah.
that is like, I feel like that one was awesome. And then for this a similar but different reason, that's why I like Martian too, is because it was the problem solving aspect of what he dealt with and using science to kind of problem solve and get his way from like day to day, like with the potatoes
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
so I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you on Interstellar for sure. I mean, I'm with you on both, but I'll start with my take on Interstellar. I thought, yeah, that's a good one. It was struggling to crack my top 5, but I think I would put it very solidly in my honorable mentions. Um,
Yeah.
I liked it's with Interstellar, like they took very sound physics theories and did a pretty good job, in my opinion, of like bringing that to the audience. Like the whole, I think, where it tends to jump the shark a little bit is like when he falls into the black hole and then you start seeing through the fabric of time. But like we
Yeah.
don't know, like there's no possible way to even imagine in your mind like what that must be like, like to have like seen through different areas of the space-time fabric for lack, like if that's what you kind of believe in. But
Yeah.
I think it was a very faithful job without being campy and stupid, like
Right.
to take this was trying to be grounded in actual science and actual physics. And so I think that part was cool. The part I didn't like for me, and this is so nitpicky, and this was I think a function of the theater. We saw it in like the super screen, like IMAX thing, and they like the tune on their freaking acoustics was like mind crunching. Like I'm not even kidding. Like I left with a headache because of the way, like, what the score is like all like strings, low bass strings, like eerie, that's like meant to like just like provoke this weird feeling and weird like space vibe. But
Yeah.
like the way they tuned this theater, like it was just so rumbly in your ear and in your brain the
Oh, really?
whole freaking time. Like it was cranked so far up, and then like, it was already probably shot and recorded on like overemphasized bass, overemphasized
Hmm.
lows. And then just the way this theater, like by us that did it just kind of ruined it for me, because I had to like suffer through a headache legitimately while watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Afterwards, when I watched it at home, it's like, okay, this is a lot more approachable, like on speakers that aren't meant to legitimately scramble my gray matter. So, and then yeah, I think The Martian's good too. I think it's a very solid space movie.
Yeah.
It probably falls victim to the fact that it came out around Interstellar a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I thought I love or space movies. Like
Yeah.
it's not going to be on my top five or even in my top honorable mentions. But there was
Hmm.
the Spaceman with Adam Sandler that came out
Uh
recently.
huh.
I don't know if you
I've
saw
not
that
seen
one.
it. Mm-mm.
It's the stupidest freaking movie. I mean, but
You have to be Adam
like,
Sandler. Yeah.
well, right, like you think, okay, Adam Sandler, but like Adam Sandler, the drama guy, who's
Oh, the serious actor.
the serious actor, yeah,
The
is a lot
Spanglish.
different,
Yeah.
right? Is a lot different,
Yeah.
yeah. Uncut Gems, like he's a lot different than
Yeah.
the Happy Gilmore Adam Sandler, but like they
Click.
they did him no favors, because he was like I think it's been a while since I've seen it, but I think the general premise is that he was lost in space, and he started hallucinating a giant tarantula on his space capsule, and he befriends this tarantula named Hanush. And
Okay.
it was voiced by this kid, the kid from There Will Be Blood. I forget his name. You know who I'm talking about? Like the
Oh, yeah,
he's like
yeah, yeah.
the younger guy. Like he's got a very like soothing, calming voice.
Yeah.
Oh yes, hi, like that sort of thing. He so the like this movie is, it's a good premise. This guy, he's lost in space, of course he's gonna start hallucinating and stuff, but like
Yeah.
I think nobody liked it, because all it was him talking to a spider the whole time. But I thought it was good, and
Interesting.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And mostly because it's a space movie.
Funny enough, you're talking about the music on Interstellar being like dramatic and all that stuff. My last honorable mention is Oppenheimer. So I don't
Mm.
know if you did you saw I don't know if you saw Oppenheimer or not.
No, and so that would probably be one of them. I'm assuming is going to be one of the more recent movies, had I seen it,
Yeah,
that would have
yeah,
cracked my top five.
yeah. So I'm already it's kind of fascinated slash infatuated with like just like the science behind like you know the nuclear bomb
Hmm.
and same
The
thing with like
Manhattan Project.
well in TV shows little tip of the cap future um Chernobyl is definitely going to be on there. I
Hmm.
don't know if you saw the Chernobyl show or not, but like I've rewatched the series like three times. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, like just something so fascinating about that entire topic. But that was another one that was again shot very artistically. They were very strategic with how they interjected like not only their use of sound, but also like atomic structure and like
Hmm.
fission and like how
Yeah,
they
yeah.
kind of portrayed that in throughout the movie in times of stress or anxiety or something like that. It's like they would like kind of shock you into anxiety
Hmm.
in parts of it. And he's just an incredible actor, anyways. But
Killian
that one was a
Murphy. Yeah.
really cool one. Yeah, and
Man, now
yeah,
you've already given me, and it's not Chernobyl, by the way, but you've already made me adjust my list. I completely forgot about a couple things on TV shows. So good. I'm glad we're not doing TV shows, because yeah, the Killian Murphy thing might be a little bit of a giveaway, but
yeah.
but
That
the
one's on
fact
mine
that
too, by the way.
yeah, is it?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. That makes me want to drink whiskey alone. Like that show.
Right. Well, I mean, like when you do a period piece, that's all they ever do is like, let me enter a scene by opening my decanter and pouring some whiskey into it. Like
Right. Or
that's just how that
pop
period
open my
was. Like,
cigarette.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay,
Hicks,
so we
Hicks
got
says there are a few space movies around that time, Martian and Interstellar, and that one that Sandra Bullock randomly
oh
floats in space.
yeah,
Gravity. I think it was
gravity. Was that
Gravity.
gravity? Yeah,
I think
that
it was
one. Yeah,
Gravity.
that one. Yeah, those. I think like it seems kind of like cherry picking because it's like we're just gonna float around in space, but like that is such a gripping concept to me that like I can watch any movie where people and like that's a lot of what Spaceman brings to the table is like just the idea of floating around in you know infinite space is just like like
You're all
God,
right. Yeah.
what a feeling that must be like to be out there, like especially if you're untethered, like then it becomes a terror that I can't even imagine. But
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's so funny. My son was is he like randomly gets like really into something for a few weeks. I mean, he's like always been in geography and stuff like that, but he went
hmm
through a space phase where like we ended up watching there's a great YouTube channel called the Infographic Show. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the rabbit hole of all rabbit holes. So it's like an illustration, it's all illustrated, right? But it's
hmm
got like crazy topics, like what World War III could look like. But it's also like what's a black hole, and like what happened if you get sucked into a black hole. Like what happens, like you stretch out, noodle, and all that stuff. But we went down
hmm
the rabbit hole on that show with space, and I mean, he would be like off. He would like lose interest and go off and start playing, and I'd be like glued to the TV, like because it's
yeah,
crazy, but like space
right,
is wild, man. Yeah,
yeah, man,
but
space,
so yeah,
it's like
those
mind
are
blowing.
my right. So of course, all my honorable mentions are about space or science or like
Right.
chemistry, and so let
All
my
right, so
inner nerd out a little bit. But
let's get into the top five here. What do we got?
yeah,
Are you
you
gonna
yeah.
rifle them off, or do you want to go like kind of one and or like supporting documentation, or what do you want to do?
So I'm going to go in no particular order
Okay,
because
okay,
that would
fair.
be harder than narrowing down my actual top five. Like
That's
that's the
fair.
hardest thing because it's the same thing with like music too. Like that's a whole nother conversation. If we really want to get going. I've already seen you and Jason go at it
Oh
in a
yeah.
private text, let alone on a
Yep.
TV like a podcast. But
Absolutely.
so I'm going to go with the ones again that I'm going to that have staying power. I feel like I've liked them for a long time. They hold
hmm
up for a long time. Like it's one of those that, like you can't pass it when it's on TV, or if it's on, you're not going to like turn it kind of thing. So one for
hmm
me is Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Love the show. Can never turn it off. It's I love the story. Another one is similar vein, Tombstone.
hmm
So, and this one I can definitely thank Patty Williams in the chat because she definitely got me. She was always in like Lonesome Dove and Tombstone and what's the one? What's the other cowboy movie? There were two of them. Um, what are some classic like 1990s like cowboy movies?
Cowboy movies.
Yeah,
I mean, like I go from Dusk Till Dawn, which is like starts as a cowboy movie, but then it goes to yeah, like God, you're gonna put me on the spot. I'm gonna start drawing a blank. I mean, like Tombstone's gonna be the one I'm gonna say for sure.
yeah. So Tombstone's definitely a big one. Um, oh, that's gonna bother me. It's
I
I
so
can
what
stinking
like
remember it.
westerns were never really my jam anyway back in the day, but
Yeah, but I mean,
Brokeback
Tombstone
Mountain.
is yeah,
You
but no. So Tombstone. I mean, dude, like it's so quotable. It's like
mhm,
it's
mhm,
such a great movie. Um, so Shawshank Redemption, Tombstone, similar. I mean, I feel like similar vein. Gangs of New York. I feel like is
mhm,
again one of those like I
There's
forget
a lot
about
there.
it like a year or two at a time, and then like I watch, I'm like, God, this movie's so stinking good, like
Yeah. And it's just
so
like
good.
it's just such an enlightening movie about like what our country was like, or like in what New York for that matter was like, what city life was like back in that time. And
Yeah,
like you think of city life now, and you have to like juxtapose that against what they had, at their time, where it's like, you would there'd be little protests gathering on corner to corner, and he would walk from one protest to the other protest to speak his mind.
yeah,
Like stuff like that was just like kind of like, really
part
cool
of
to
it.
me, and stuck out to me, because it's like this is what life was like back then.
Yeah,
Like you think New York was always this thing where there was tons of people who could go about their daily lives not knowing what another person was doing over there, but it wasn't always like that. Like
yeah.
it's kind of cool.
It's
Yeah,
so
I
funny
definitely like that.
because that movie shows a time when obviously like division was such an issue, but at the same time there was you could still have respect because that's the big thing, right? Like the
Hmm.
preacher, like obviously they hated each other, they want to kill each other, but like, but it's the only honorable man, the only man I
Right.
remember worth remembering that
Worth
I've killed.
remembering. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a respect thing, right? So
Hmm.
I love that. The other cowboy movie I was thinking of was Young Guns.
Young Gun. Yes. 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 Yes.
Young Guns. That was another good one. That
Hmm.
was a classic. But so Shawshank Redemption, Tombstone, Gangs of New York, Dark Knight. Like I don't know if it just
Okay.
happened to
Okay.
be like it came out at the right time. Like,
Hmm.
I was. I mean, but again, like the best
Anamorphic shot
Joker,
on it. Yeah, shot on anamorphic.
Chicago.
Like
Yeah,
just yeah, Chicago. Yeah, exactly. You got the whole lower
shot in
Wacker Drive
Chicago.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It
Dark
just.
Knight. I mean, that movie just didn't miss. Like undefeated, just doesn't
Yeah.
miss. Again, you can watch it 100 times and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know.
Very very
Um,
fair.
Yeah, and then continuing with my theme of violence in World War II, Inglorious Bastards. Like
Inglorious
so,
Bastards is a great one.
yeah. So I mean, and there was a million that I kind of went back and forth on
Hmm.
with that last spot. But again, it goes back to like every time I watch it, I see something different. It
Hmm.
keeps my attention the whole time, which is saying something for someone with ADHD. Like,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
I love it every time. Like, and it's so layered. There's so
Hmm.
much going on. Like,
This one's
and
for Jason too. Buongiorno.
you know, yeah, yeah. That's but I mean, yeah, Brad Pitt was incredible in that.
Hmm.
I can never remember his name, but everything that that the German, what is his
Oh
name?
yeah,
Christoph.
yeah, Christoph
Chris
Waltz.
Waltz, like that again, I feel like is an absolutely underrated. Everything he's in
Exciting.
is
Yeah.
incredible. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Django Unchained, like he was incredible in
Hmm.
that. Like,
That
but
Django Unchained was that was going to be so close to making my top 5, simply
yeah,
because, and like I don't know, on the risk of starting to get into some obviously gray area
some hot
topics,
water.
some some hot water. My brother and I went and saw that in the theaters, and I shit you not, we were, and this was obviously intentional by the movie makers. I had to get out of my seat. I was laughing so hard at the bit they did with the KKK masks before they were.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
can't
god,
see shit in this thing.
my wife stayed up all night
Right.
working on these things for you.
You ungrateful sons of bitches.
I just like, my brother and I have never laughed so hard at any movie in our entire lives. Like I was
Yeah.
doubled over laughing, and I hope it wasn't insensitive to do so, because I feel like it was obviously it was intentional and
Like,
satirical,
all
like,
right.
but yeah, like at the risk of sounding insensitive, like it was more about the obvious bit rather than the content of it. But yeah.
Well, right, right. Well, and I feel like that's in every movie. He tries to find that
Yes.
spot where he can like press to make you
And
uncomfortable, but then
just.
like right, put you just to the edge and like, ooh, I don't know if I can laugh at this. But then
Hmm.
add that bit of like, obviously this is a joke. Like this
Right.
is poking fun at the ridiculousness of this.
Yeah, I just
But
don't know what his like again, I don't want to go down this road too far, but like I just don't know what his intentions are because he like he's got some other movies too where it's like he takes some liberties that have like been
I mean,
scrutinized
he's a risk
after the fact.
taker.
He's a
Oh
very
yeah,
big risk
he's a
taker.
risk
I
taker.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But anyway, yeah, so that one was really close to cracking my list for sure. But yeah, I love Django Unchained. But you were talking
Yeah.
about Inglorious Bastard, which is awesome movie for sure too.
Again, it goes to the like I don't know. There's something about like World War II that it's like the
Yeah.
the best of humanity and the worst of humanity. Like it really is like
Mm-hmm.
it's again. I think that also goes to the atomic like kind of my like intrigue by like the atomic bomb of just like
Mm-hmm.
something we're capable of doing that has such horrific impact. Like just it's like a reminder of like what we're capable of,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
like where like if pushed too far where it can go. But it's terrifying and awe-inspiring at the same time, which is like a weird way to say it, but like it's
Yeah.
wild what we're capable of at the same time terrifying, you know.
Funny story about the Manhattan Project. My dad, I think, told me a story that he once knew a guy who was like related. I don't think it was the actual person, but it was like the son of somebody who was on the Manhattan Project. But like he was talking about just like how people who can come up with that stuff, how their brain is wired completely differently than ours is.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he said this guy who either was or was the son of somebody who exhibited the same traits was so eccentric and brilliant. Like there's things that he would do in a social setting that would make you realize, okay, this guy doesn't think the same way we do. And the story my
yep,
dad always tells is that he was in a meeting with this person, and so I don't want to misquote who it was, but I knew it was somebody cut from the same cloth as like an Oppenheimer or whoever, all the physicists that were part of the Manhattan Project. Like everybody was in this room and they had chips and salsa, and to the average person, it was very obvious that you take a chip, pick it up, dip it in the salsa. But to this
yeah.
guy, he started looking at it and said, that like doesn't compute to me. So he started to take the salsa and pour it like on the chip.
Pour it onto the chip.
Yeah. And it was just like one of those like weird things where he's like, this person obviously does not subscribe to the same social and probably mental, like headspace that the average person does. And like he was like, it was just very odd to see a guy try to like pour salsa onto his chip surrounded by people who were showing him exactly how to do it. But yet at the
Right,
same
right,
token,
right.
this guy was a brilliant mind who could, who knew physics like better than anybody else. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
well, it's funny. So politics aside, I remember watching an interview with Elon Musk a few years ago, and someone had asked him like, oh, like something along the lines of like how like how does it feel to like have this life where you've got you're like the richest man in the world now and everything like that. And his response was like, I don't think most people would like to be me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
his basically response was something along the lines of like, I'm in a essentially a constant battle inside my mind. There's no taking it easy. There's no calm. There's no like it's just constant turmoil in my head. And there's like I can't
Mhm.
shut it off. So like I try to like put that energy into things, which is I obviously like the torture genius and all that stuff is like
Mhm. Mhm.
cliche for a reason, right? Like some people are just so smart that they just can't function in a like typical society because it's not how their brains work. But
Right.
and he is in that realm like a high functioning like person because he can like he's taken that historically and put it into like execution as opposed to a lot of the get stuck in concept and everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's something to like you said, cut from a different cloth. Like, he's like, I don't think most people would like to live inside my head because it's not
Mhm.
nice. It's not a fun place, like so, but
There's demons in there.
Yeah, right. It's scary, scary, scary place. Oh,
Yeah.
Man on Fire. That's another good one from
Man on
that's from the
Fire.
'90s, right? Man on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Was that
Denzel,
90s?
right?
Was that 90s or early 2000s?
2004. 2004.
Yeah.
That was a
I
good one
know.
though.
I know. It's really hard to remember the difference between the 90s and 2004.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's what's so funny is
Okay.
like
Hicks
1999 seems forever away. What's up?
Yeah, it does. All right, here's Hicks's top 5. I feel like we have to shout him out since he gave us
Oh, absolutely.
inspiration for this. 1917. Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
That's
It's
another war movie.
war movie. The Shining,
Yeah,
obvious. The Pianist, good one. Joker, nice. And No Country for Old Men. That's a good.
yeah.
That's very very
That's
solid
a
top
solid
5.
list. I think Hicks is letting us know he's got a dark side to him.
Absolutely.
He's got some twisted ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, The
Um,
Shining, Joker, No Country for Old Men, classic.
Denzel is amazing. I cannot stand behind the Denzel is amazing comment, unfortunately, because of
I'm very
Training Day.
very pro Denzel. Very
Are
pro
you?
Denzel. Yes.
Um, Training Day ruined it for me because it was essentially a movie with him just talking for like 2 hours. I don't even know who the other actor was,
In the
but I don't
car.
feel. Yeah, it's just like and it just ruined it because it was like after a while, I was like, dude, are you ever going to shut up and let somebody else talk? I mean, I know like obviously that was the way the
Well, if
movie was
he's
written. So,
training someone else, you're going to be doing most of the talking, you know?
but like everything was freaking intense. Like just let somebody else get some air,
King
please.
Kong ain't got shit on me or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the equalizers are great. John
I mean,
Q was
yeah, I
great.
can't. I should not let my bad taste of one movie ruin it for me with Denzel, but unfortunately, it has because anytime he speaks up in his power voice, I go back to Training Day and I'm like, shut up and let your freaking rookie talk for like two
Let the other
seconds.
guy talk. Give
Yeah,
him
just
some
let the other guy
airtime.
talk, please. Just let him talk for a
Yeah,
minute. Like that, it was. I was struggling with that the whole movie. Ethan Hawke, yes,
yeah.
that was who it was. It was just let
Oh,
like
yep.
I know he was young. Let the guy talk, please. But yeah, so anytime Denzel takes a position of power, I'm just like, here we go. It's fucking Training Day all over again.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
But
All right. So you want to do my top
it,
5?
yeah, one comment. So as Patty said,
Yeah.
anything Denzel or Morgan Freeman. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't fight the Morgan Freeman either.
No.
Like, I mean, he doesn't miss. And in Dark
Hmm.
Knight,
In Dark Knight, yes,
in
he's
Dark
very good
Knight,
in
yeah,
that.
yep, yep. And Shawshank
He's
Redemption. He's in two of my
yeah, you're
top
right. You're right.
fives.
Yeah, you're right. And I guess here's some honorable mentions for me was the
Sure.
Now You See Me franchise, the Magic one.
Oh,
Do you ever see?
really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw him.
that's
Okay.
my honorable mentions. I'm just
That
a
one's shocking coming from you.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
trust me, my top 5 is probably going to shock you because they're not like power movies, but they're movies that
Yeah.
have staying power for me personally.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, those ones I like. I've always just been a closet fan of Magic, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know, they're just fun movies to me. Kind of in the similar vein that like I found some fun in watching the National Treasure franchise, as campy and
I
as stupid as it
I
was.
don't mind those either, but I also like
I don't mind it.
history. So
Exactly.
I like them as
If
well.
you
But
Exactly. If it has some sort of like connection to you, you can overlook the camp a little bit and overlook some of the,
yeah.
like so for me, magic was a topic that I kind of had a closeted interest in. So I can
Hmm.
overlook any of the negative, aspects of that movie. But yeah, so I guess my top 5, I'll go in order starting with number 5. And this is just purely staying power. Ghostbusters for me is number 5, the original. Like
Sure. Sure.
I wore that VHS out as a kid. I can still watch it to this day. I think there was just something about that style of filming with everything. I want the whole shot. I want the crappy VFX of that era. I want the the campy kind of like National Lampoon style storytelling of it. Like it
Yeah.
felt very very much like National Lampoons, and I think there was a lot of people that kind of crossed over from that. So I think that's kind of why. But like
Yeah.
you got Rick Moranis, who he's coming back, by the way, for
Really?
yeah, I forgot what it was for, but anyway, yeah, like I just love that movie. I love Ghostbusters. It was a thing of my childhood, so I can always watch that. After that, probably because of the reason why I like so many, or why I like this movie, is because it referenced so many things of my childhood. Ready Player One. Did you ever see that?
Yes. Yeah, I love that movie. The book's amazing.
Yeah, I've not
So
read the book.
I read the book
I'm one of
first
those.
and then watched the movie, and I love them both for like it's kind of like the Harry Potter movies where like the
Mhm,
book was really good but felt different than the movies, but I still really
mhm.
enjoyed the movies. Like the same exact thing with Ready Player One. Amazing.
Yeah. There was too many things that it touched on for me to like be disappointed in anything about that movie. And I think it
Yep.
does a pretty, like, it had this like right to just go and be stupid, like nostalgia
Yep.
like tweaking your nostalgia nipples the whole way
Yeah.
through. Like like that it could have done that and been like the stupidest movie in the world, but I really feel like the
Yeah.
story kind of held up a little bit. Like there was
Yeah.
some good aspect. There was humanity, there was the concept of the real versus the virtual. There was
Right.
like the
Breaking the
deception.
mold, thinking
Exactly.
differently
Yeah.
than other people. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like, all sorts of stuff. I just thought it was a
A
great
little
movie.
bit the little guy versus the big mega
Mhm.
corporation. Like it was
Yep. Yeah. There was so many tropes that were just played out really well in that, and like they even had a Shining reference for Hicks over there. So if you
yeah, yeah.
if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. But all right, after that is Usual Suspects. That was a big one for me kind of in my 20s. The Kaiser Soze. That was the one for me that got
The
me
lineup
into like,
scene.
yeah, the lineups, like just that was like what got me into seeking out movies that had a huge like twist hook, kind of like mind-blowing thing that was like, holy crap, I've been watching this movie and didn't realize this for the entire time. When he walks out of the courthouse and starts walking, like going from a cripple walking to like a normal person walking, you realize he just duped the F out of all you guys. Like that was like, oh
Right.
yes,
Right.
that was
Yeah.
so great. I love that movie. Number two, this is this is gonna be one that's gonna get a lot of hate. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
With
I want to hear this
the
one.
the car stealing movie with Nicolas Cage.
I think you're just a
I,
Nicolas Cage fan. Like,
did I have another Nick Cage? Well, what else? No, that's not only
you're
Nick
seeing the
Cage.
National Lampoon, like not National Lampoon, National
Oh,
Treasure, the National Treasure
yeah, National
movies. You
Treasure.
said,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. I do have a little bit of a low key like Nick Cage appreciation.
Gauge
Um,
your cage. No.
yeah, but I think that's maybe what got me to like hook into the movie. But after I watched that movie, I don't know. It was just, again, it was the right place at the right time. It hit me from like a guy who was getting into cars and just like, like in at the point in my life where like the thought of owning any one of those cars was so far, like outside of
Outside
the
the
realm
realm
of
of possibility. Yeah.
yeah. But like these guys were going around and just like stealing them and like joyriding around in them and stuff.
Oh
And it was
yeah.
just to me, it was so goddamn quotable. Like, and like not a lot of people find it that way, but I like watched that movie so many times that my cousin and I watched it like
Hmm.
probably, end to end for like a week straight, and we got to the point where we could say the lines from like the first 10-15 minutes back to each other, and just like the pacing and the dialogue, the way they said it was stupid, it was
Yeah.
campy, but it was something that you could latch onto and remember in your head, and you could repeat the same things over and over again that they were saying. And I
Yeah.
don't know why, but that one stuck out with me.
Yeah.
And my
I have
top.
to ask. Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You go
No, go.
ahead.
No, 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 no. Ask first, please,
No.
before
Well,
I get into this one.
so, on the vein of Ready Player One, Hicks had called out the movie Gamer. Do you remember that one with
Mhm.
Gerard Butler? Like that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
another similar vibe,
Hmm.
but like obviously much darker storyline. But
Hmm.
so with your like enjoy like how much you enjoy magic, what are your thoughts on Prestige? The Prestige.
Oh yeah, that there was the Prestige, and then there was
And
another
then the
one too, right?
Illusionist?
Illusionist. Yeah,
Illusionist,
dude.
like that came out at the same time, right?
I have to go back and watch them again because I
Mm,
haven't seen either of those movies since the first time I saw them. But I remember watching them probably on the same weekend, and I thought like it was too close together to be able to separate the two of them. But I liked them. I liked both of them, probably
yeah.
because of the magic thing. But both of them I thought were good in their own rights.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
think Prestige. If I want to say Prestige was like a little bit better. It's kind of speaking again. There, I don't want to say anything because it's been too long since I've seen those
Yeah.
to
I
comment
personally
appropriately.
would put Prestige over the Illusionist, personally.
Yeah,
But
yeah. There was just it was cool because I think like one of the two of them kind of like divulged. Like Magic's got this like this blanket of like secrecy over it where it's like you can't like, and this might be foreshadowing a little bit. If somebody gets me on my number one TV show off of this, I will sell you $20 because I feel so confident about this. But like Magic has this like shroud of secrecy where like you're going to get blacklisted if you say, like if you expose any of their secrets and that like and
yeah.
stuff. And so like when movies like Prestige kind of at least sort of go beyond that, I was like, yes, this is kind of cool. And even, to a lesser degree, um Now You See Me franchise kind of did a similar thing too, where it was like they started to expose some of their tricks, how they did it a little bit. So
Uh
that part I think is cool.
yeah.
All right, and my
Well,
number one. Oh, were you gonna say something?
no, I would say yeah, like I want to hear your number one.
Number one, drum roll, is Snatch.
Oh, okay. I got
Did
you.
you ever see
We,
it?
we, yeah,
Okay.
we've got some older ones on the list.
Yeah. Again, like I said earlier, mostly older ones because I had
Yeah.
not seen any movies recently that I felt like were good movies. I struggled
Yeah.
to try and find something. I think, even I would even consider Interstellar and The Martian to be not new, but I think Oppenheimer
Yeah.
would be one that I think.
Oppenheimer is the one I was talking about. Yeah, but
Yeah. Yeah.
on the speaking of like Brad Pitt, like one that I was like, it's really hard not to one that really should have been in my honorable mentions is Fight Club. It's another
Fight
one
Club.
that was it's just so different than anything
Hmm.
else. Again, it had the like Sixth Sense esque like absolute like curveball at the end
Hmm.
like. But it's also again like fighting the man and destroying the
Hmm.
credit cards and like everything was like like the lessons behind everything that was twisted like it was
Yeah.
doing good but in a wrong way like which
Hmm.
I feel like is also why I really like Batman and Deadpool like the anti-heroes like they
Yeah.
do
Anti. Yeah.
good but not in nice ways, you know.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Not in the
It's
crystal clean way that you would think
right. It's not
they would.
Superman,
Right.
but
Right.
or Captain America.
Yeah. Yeah. They can push themselves outside of the bounds of good very easily. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I mean that's a solid. Yeah, you have a diverse five. I feel like
Hmm.
mine was definitely like there's a lot of similarities in all five of mine. Like, but I feel like we could realistically do a top five, and we could do top five comedies, top
Hmm.
five war
Oh
movies,
yeah.
top five dramas, top five Nicolas Cage movies. Like we could do all
Right.
of those. And
Right.
it'd be just as entertaining a conversation as anything.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think, yeah, like my list, I was like struggling to think of like things to kind of like showcase, a broad array of movies that I like, but like
Yeah.
ultimately, those are the ones that spoke to me most. But there's definitely some things that made me think for sure. Once upon a time in Hollywood with Pitt and DiCaprio was solid for sure.
Oh, that was a newer one. Yeah.
That was
That
a
was a
newer one,
newer
yeah.
one. Yeah. again, another one that was kind of, threw some curveballs at you, was
Hmm.
dark and twisted, but like still good,
Hmm. For
but
sure.
yeah.
I'm excited for my TV list. I think it's gonna be cool. Though I have to remember the one thing you mentioned one. Okay, yes, yes. I'm gonna put it down right
Yeah.
now so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know where it's
But
gonna fall in my top five, but I'm gonna
during
save it.
during this podcast, I've pushed two in and bumped two out, like in my
Nice,
top five already.
nice.
So, but yeah, that one's gonna be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
And looks like we are. I think we're definitely slated for Game 7 here in the NBA. It's
it's looking
73-46.
like it. Yeah, I mean
Just
that
catching
would
up.
have to be an astronomical collapse to kind of screw this up. And I feel like if anything, they're really good at coming back from
I was gonna say, yeah.
deficits. But
If this was flipped around, it would maybe be a little bit less, like in the
right,
bag. But I think
right,
given the
right.
given the way this will be interesting to see if we wake up tomorrow and somehow OKC pulls this out, it will be shunned from the sports world. But I'm gonna go
100%
ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and make the claim that we're going to Game 7
that
right
we're
now.
going to Game 7, baby.
You
There
heard
we
it
go.
right now. Lock it in.
But any good news recently? Talk about sports a little bit. Anything
Yeah.
new from the Bears world?
No, man, we're over here waiting to pick on the discards from the Bengals. One of the two edge rushers that they're not going to be able to sign, Hendricks or
Yeah.
Shader, because
At,
I
at least this week we have positive progress on the Henderson thing, like
oh yeah,
which we
nice.
haven't had in a year. So like the fact that we're like at least like sitting back at the table having contract negotiations is a positive
You're back.
because
Okay, so you guys are back at the table at least now, huh?
well I think we also lost Pratt, who was our defensive captain and our tackle leader last year. We cut him,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I'm assuming for
That's
salary reasons.
right, right. That makes some
So
sense.
yeah,
What does he
but
play? What does he play?
he was a defensive interior.
Oh, we're pretty solid in the interior. But I was reading an article where they like I had no idea just how like touch and go things were with I'll backtrack this a little bit. I'm hearing reports right now that we're starting to get touch and go with some of our contract negotiations with our second round, our entire second round pick selection right now is having difficulties in the contract negotiations. But
Or
somebody was like,
sorry, Pratt's a linebacker, not
linebacker.
defensive interior. I'm
Uh,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, no, no. Is he strong or weak? Does it say?
I can't remember. No,
That's all right.
I
No
need
worries.
to look him up. I can't remember. I know he's a
I think we're
linebacker.
pretty set.
I can't
I'm over
remember.
here just trying to. I'm just trying. I'm being an asshole. I'm trying to just pick off the
I'm assuming
off
strong.
of
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
But yeah, we're having struggles with our second round signing them too. But like there was an article that broke from one of the popular Bears outlets where it was like, hey, guess what? The Bengals not only are struggling to sign Hendrickson, but they're also start trying to use that new
A new
language,
clause. Yeah,
yeah, in negotiations with Shader, and he's not having any of that either.
I don't blame him one bit.
I,
The
you know,
Bengals are the Bengals are bungling. I mean, we have to have the worst front office in all of the NFL. I mean,
yeah,
outside of the Panthers, even though I know the Panthers have been crushing it this year, but whoever pushed through that DJ Moore trade, like it should be
right,
fine, and they
yeah,
probably
absolutely.
were, but no. Yeah. So yeah, essentially the what sucks is the if we just gave him our first round pick, if we gave him the exact same deal we gave last year's first round pick, he's like, I'm not asking you to do anything that you haven't done
You
before.
haven't already
I'm
done, yeah.
asking you to not use me as the guinea pig for this new ridiculous clause that you're trying to make me
I
sign, and I'm not going to do it.
I think it was kind of bold of the Bengals who have kind of that like MO, like
Yeah,
that stigma with their front office of being the type to bungle everything.
yeah,
I think it was a little bit bold for them to be like the first to just jump on it and say, yes, we're going to start including this language in all of our rookie contracts because, like you said, like it's the Bengals. There's already, I think, a level of skepticism that you enter in negotiation contracts for any player that enters negotiation contracts with specifically the Bengals.
yeah.
You're gonna be on the defensive going into it right out the gate. I feel like so
Right,
the fact
right.
the fact that they would choose to like just automatically jump to the team beneficial language that they're able to stay to use right now is like a little bit of like bad faith, I guess, or could be perceived as a little bit bad faith. But
Absolutely. I would
but
be
I
perceiving it as bad faith if I were a rookie coming in. And the reason we drafted him was the uncertainty around our other edge rusher. Now we have
Mhm.
zero edge rushers. Like basically, like
At the moment, yeah.
nail down one of them. Like,
Right, right.
but
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it'll be interesting to see. I need to go back and like actually read that article to see what the language, for lack of a better term, was that was
I can
causing
tell you
the
the gist
Bears
of
to
it.
struggle. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
the one that was causing the Bears to struggle with their second round picks because like if we start to see collectively all GMs across the league just enter into all rookie negotiations using that language,
Yeah,
then I think, like take the claw, put the claws down a little bit, Shader and some of these other folks, because like collectively this is what is happening now. This language is available to GMs and they're going to at least attempt to exercise it. But I think if you're like the only one and your front office is known for being the type to screw people over in negotiations,
yeah,
then I think it would be, like it could be perceived as bad faith. But if
yeah,
the Bears are doing it and like everybody else across the league is like at least going into this trying to put that language into it,
yeah.
like then I think it's okay. And like you can't really, I mean, at the end of the day, these are business transactions, and if you put your business hat on and look at them from that perspective, if there's the ability for these people, for a team to protect themselves with language that was made available, they have to try, in my opinion.
Right,
If you say
right.
if you say if you say no, absolutely not, and it's a matter of principle where you could let this draft pick walk, like no, don't like don't do that. But
Yeah.
you know you you're never, it's never going to get used unless somebody tries to use it, and it's never going to
I
work
just wish it
unless
wasn't us. Like, I
exactly.
just wish it
That's
wasn't us. We have
that's
enough
how I feel.
issues going on. Right.
Right,
If we
right.
were like a stable franchise and like, you know what, we have a history of greatness, we have a history of being a team, like a player first organization, and then you put that in there and be like, listen, this is
Yep.
something we're trying to protect the team, this is this, but the Bengals don't have that reputation, the
Right,
front
right.
office does not have that reputation, and we're already in hot water with a massive player on our defense. Like, let's just one fire at a time, please.
Right,
Like,
right.
please. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all I'm asking. It's not
they
crazy,
seem
but
they seem like they're the type that just wants to just burn the whole thing and figure
I
out how
want
much.
violence.
Right.
But yeah, Shamar. I mean, yeah, I don't blame him. And again, I don't, like I said, I see both sides, right? Like he hasn't proven anything. He doesn't, and, like, who is he to be making demands, all that stuff? But at the same
Hmm.
time, like, he's like, listen, if you just give me the same contract you offered last year's first, like same, I mean, I'll sign now. But
Yeah,
and he flat out said it, he goes, they're more interested in winning arguments than they are winning games. And I don't
mm.
get it. Like I don't get it.
that's a
Like
that's a big soundbite right there for sure.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean
And like
I hope it works out.
that's like
There's
the
a
type of
real
thing that
chance
can get you
it doesn't.
screwed. Yeah, yeah. And we will be right there to collect if either of those two don't work out. So
Yeah,
just letting you
yeah.
know that right now that I'm over here like a
Praying.
vacant. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at a vacant lot and I'm Spirit Halloween over here. Like just
Yeah, seriously,
I'm
just
ready. I am
rubbing your
ready.
hands together,
Yeah.
licking your lips over there. Yeah, but
But no, I do hope that they do that because yeah, like yeah, that soundbite is very telling. If you're sometimes
mhm,
you can get yourself so wrapped around yourself trying to negotiate that you just ruin the deal. You know, like and
yeah,
if they're over there just trying to make you say that you're right rather than trying to sign you, then that's not the right way to approach it.
yeah, yeah. I feel what sucks is it's the same issue. I mean, even worse in baseball. Like
Mhm.
it's if you don't have the salary cap is a good thing, right? It's a good thing. It makes it like it makes it much closer to being an even playing field.
Mhm.
Whereas like baseball, they don't even try to hide it. Like it's going to be the Dodgers, it's going to be the Yankees, it's going to be like those teams with bajillionaire owners
Right.
that can use their wealth as an advantage with things like guaranteed money, which are going to be far more appealing than those that are offering the same amount of money but can't front the guaranteed money. Like
Mhm.
that's a difference maker, right?
Yep.
So like
Huge.
and that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, that's our Achilles heel is that we don't have independently wealthy owners that can front, like, well, Watkins or Watson just got 260 million fully guaranteed. I'm better than he is. Why are I mean, I'm not even asking for that. I'm asking for 150. They're like,
Right, right.
yeah, but look what happened with Watson. Like that's what we're trying to avoid,
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think also I think with what the Bengals are trying to avoid with the Shamar contract is they don't want like a Henry Ruggs. They don't want that first round pick that like constantly getting in trouble and then they're gone. Like they do something
Mhm.
stupid off the field. But
And that
um,
was that was the kind of the rub with him was like that's a possibility. So
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I just hope we get to football soon. But in
please, dear
classic
God,
Bengals
let us get
fashion, I know they're just going to drag it on and break my heart and just uncomfortable all off
there.
season. But
Well, it's a good segue because I
yeah.
can certainly assure you to everybody that's listening that we get a lot more better at
Mo better.
podcasting. Yeah,
Yeah.
we get mo better.
Yeah.
The quality of our podcast will improve significantly once football season starts for sure. But
Yes. Oh, yeah.
even though I thoroughly enjoyed our conversations and our divergent topics on divergent. That was another
Oh, it's another good one.
no, anyway. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that topic. So thanks to Hicks for you know planting the seed on that one,
Yeah.
and thanks to everybody else that that tuned in and kind
Patty
of
in the
gave
chat,
us
Hicks in the
yeah,
chat.
Patty
Yeah.
in the chat. People are over here in the chat. That was great. Definitely keeps us going, gives us something to talk about. Just gonna check in on the score here real quick. Patty said it was 84-57.
84-57.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I think I could take my take to the bank at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think it's probably safe at this point. But
but anyway, hey Cody, had a blast. I don't know about you,
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, once again, we are just a bit outside podcast. So if you liked what you heard and you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all the engagement things so that we get more people to watch us, more people to
Hmm.
chat, and we'll keep doing it. So
Yeah.
until next time, guys, thanks for hanging out, and yeah, we'll see y'all later.
Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Cheers.